Revolutionary greetings, comrades. The President of Botswana, His Excellency Mokgweetsi Masisi, has been in Zimbabwe in the last few days. On his visit to Zimbabwe, one of the key things that he spoke about are the sanctions that were imposed on the political leadership of Zimbabwe. In his message of solidarity, President Masisi called on the lifting of sanctions against the leadership and the people of Zimbabwe. We have always said that as communists we support the call for the lifting of sanctions that were imposed in Zimbabwe. We are calling on His Excellency President Masisi to walk his talk. We cannot continue to have solidarity directed at leadership level while the people on the ground suffer. We are saying this because the government of Botswana continues to deport Zimbabweans from its country. From January to April, according to the reports, that is 1st January to 30th April 2022, 25,300 Zimbabweans were deported from Botswana. Botswana is a sovereign state. It has a right to deport anyone who is seen to have violated its immigration laws, and will not complain about that. But if His Excellency President Masisi says that the sanctions, if Zimbabwe is sanctioned, so is Botswana, we must begin then to say, why deport Zimbabweans from Botswana? Because one then assumes that the sanctions have a serious impact on the economy of Zimbabwe, to an extent that citizens of Zimbabwe will leave Zimbabwe to Botswana for employment and business opportunities. And many of those are people of low skill who will not qualify to be documented in terms of the Botswana immigration laws. So we cannot be harsh on the poor, the ordinary people. But when the heads of state meet, they condemn sanctions. But when ordinary people cross into Botswana, they are being thrown out. So we are calling on President Masisi and his government to grant an amnesty to the people of Zimbabwe that are in Botswana who are not documented. If indeed he believes that the economic crisis in Zimbabwe are as a result of sanctions, as he expressed in his visit to Harare this week. As we said in the previous video, that SADC declared 25 October to be a day of showing practical solidarity with Zimbabwe on the lifting of sanctions. We said the SADC leadership at its summit some few years back in Tanzania resolved that seminars and demonstrations or marches must be conducted across the region to force those who impose the sanctions to lift the sanctions so that Zimbabwe can rebuild its economy and take care of its people. And we are saying in this video if His Excellency President Masisi believes that indeed sanctions are a problem, then his government must show practical solidarity by granting Zimbabweans of low skill in Botswana special permits, so that while there's a campaign to lift the sanctions against the government of Zimbabwe and its people, Zimbabweans are not deported from Botswana. If Botswana does this, it will indeed show that it is a friend of Zimbabwe, not the political leadership being friends to the political leadership in Zimbabwe. Because what is key is that we must build people-to-people solidarity. And the government of Botswana can then assist by providing practical solidarity to the poor people of Zimbabwe who are victims of the sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe. And this it can do by granting special permits to Zimbabweans of low skill and those that are running businesses in the small sector, and those that want to further their studies in Botswana. So they should grant special permits that will allow Zimbabweans in Botswana to study, to work, and to run businesses. If indeed President Masisi believes in what he said when he was in Harare, we will then take him and his government seriously as revolutionaries. Because he went on to say the party that he leads, the ruling party in Botswana, and the ZANU-PF are also members of the former liberation movement. And we argue that our liberation, not only in Zimbabwe but in the SADC region, is not complete. It can only be complete when the commanding heights of the economy are placed in the hands of society as a whole. As long as we are not in command or in charge of our own economies, then we cannot be said to be independent, or our liberation is not complete. So if indeed his party is a member of the former liberation movements in the region, the liberation is not complete. The economies of the region must be placed in the hands of society as a whole. So as part of giving solidarity to the people of Zimbabwe, we call on Botswana to grant special permits to Zimbabweans in Botswana. Please share your views. I know that some will say, Comrade Mabena, go and fight in Zimbabwe. What President Masisi said is that this is an international struggle, a struggle against the sanctions. And the sanctions cannot only be fought inside Zimbabwean soil. It requires our neighbors and the friends of Zimbabwe to give practical solidarity. As part of giving practical solidarity, the poor Zimbabweans should not be thrown in police vans and be deported when they seek greener pastures in neighboring countries. And Botswana must demonstrate its practical solidarity. Please like this video, circulate to your contacts, kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel. Otherwise, Amandla Comrades.